Welcome everyone to podcast number 98. These two are backwards. There we go.
Yes.
Try and match our logo as best as I can. Yeah. Welcome, right? Another week. I guess topic of the day is Alberta's back in another lockdown. Cool. Or never left it, just went worse.
Yeah.
Bad news out in Alberta here, everybody. Yeah.
Well, here we are, 2,500 cases in a day consistently over the last 4 or 5 days. Crazy.
Yeah.
Not good at all. But
makes sense though. You know, I think the biggest thing is as long as they're going to enforce the rules that they're putting in. It sounds like they are in some of the. You know, you heard the comments from the Whistle Stop restaurant, right? They're trying to host something, and you know everybody's got to get shut down, right? Everybody, you got to follow the rules. You got to do what you got to do. It's a couple of weeks here. Kids are back home, right? Online learning from K to 12. Universities shut down. Recreation shut down. One-on-one, outdoor. I mean, golf is obviously affected too. It's not looking good for Mr. Bradley getting on the golf course.
Yeah,
we're nearing the end, I think, right? So you know, we'll get there soon, I think.
We kind of knew it was coming.
July.
Yeah. I think
We're not at the end, Tim.
Unfortunately, the government had to step in and do something for the vaccines to catch up, right? Our vaccine program has been really good, but we're just unfortunately not doing the right things in order to let those take over. We're letting the infections win, right? So I don't agree with a lot of it, but I'm doing my part, and I hope everybody else is too, so we can all get out there and do our thing, hopefully within 3 weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. To think that we all thought that there was a chance that we were going to open up on March 22nd, and now we're the worst we've ever been.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. But
yeah,
here we are.
It is what it is. We'll get there.
Yeah.
A lot of comments in there. What's everybody talking about in this comments?
Talking about
already.
Your hat.
We're off to the races.
Talking about your hat.
Yeah, wow. Getting some love about wearing a hat finally. The reason why I'm wearing a hat today, though, is not because of Mr. Canham. It's because it's Hats Off for Mental Health Wellness Day. So we're recognizing the mental health side of things and important cause. So DB's got the hat on. There you go, Mr. Canham.
Perfect. So we might as well hit up our nicknames here before we continue on with our little banter. So I'm your host, Carrie, ready for vacation Krites. We got Dexter, bowling is the best part of bowling, Wiseman. Tim needs an assistant, Wiseman. And Daryl, ready for the links, Bradley. Once again, 5-Pin Universe is happy to bring these podcasts to you, and it wouldn't happen without our patrons supporting us. For as little as $2 a month, you can be on Patreon at 5pin or patreon.com/5pinuniverse and help support us bring this to you weekly, and it's actually been pretty consistent. I'm really surprised. After 98 episodes, I thought we'd be a little bit more flaky. But
Yeah, when was the last time we
It's
took a Wednesday off?
It's hard line in the schedule now. We just got my men's league for golf is on Monday nights.
Oh.
Now we don't know if we're playing men's league. We're probably not. But this is Wednesday, so of course the wife asked me, so you're going to have something on Mondays and Wednesdays now? Yeah, absolutely. I am.
yeah, if ball came back around, I'd be busy Tuesday, Wednesdays, and probably Thursdays. So hopefully that comes back.
But Daryl, you're at home on Wednesday evenings. I mean, you're not out or anything like that, so you're technically with the family, right?
Soccer would be going, but soccer right now is obviously on a hiatus as well. There's talk about doing a different sort of technical training side of things, but that's not with this latest shutdown. That's not even allowed, right? So,
Right.
Soccer's not being played anytime soon. So, but we do have 100th coming up soon, so we'll have to get Weber back on for 100th.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Got him penciled in for his 5 minutes of little bit of chat.
You mean Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yeah, Obi-Wan.
I do. Go ahead, guys. Yeah.
No, if people didn't see that, check out our Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Dexter did a little May the 4th be with you for everyone. I'm not going to show it on podcast here, but Dexter may.
I'm not.
No,
That's just
good.
quick. Fast fingers over there.
Good.
Yeah,
good.
no, I'm writing names. That's it. I'm just
Perfect.
writing names.
We are going to give away a piece of merch this week as well. It's going to be from 5-Pin Universe for the mental health side of things, and it's going to be the exact copy of what Daryl is wearing. So get your comment in the chat, and you'll be added to the draw. It's the blackout version of the flat-brimmed... It's a flex fit, is it not, Daryl?
Yeah, you bet.
Perfect.
Does it come in flat brim or does it come in curved?
Yeah,
Flat
here,
brim,
here.
flat brim.
Watch.
I'll sign it too. Because if the winner wants me to sign it, I'll sign the hat.
And since we're talking about signing things, Danny Bear, we're sorry. We haven't been able to get together due to COVID, so we haven't been able to sign your hat all together. So once that's available to happen, we will sign it and mail it out to you. But we appreciate you ordering it.
Don't even worry about him right now. He may not live through the week.
He's not feeling that well.
So. Yeah, it may not even matter.
That's real great. Dexter, or how do we get in the draw? Did we say that yet?
You just got a comment.
All you
Just
gotta do is
comment in the
put
chat.
something in the
Just
comments.
got a
Okay.
comment.
Yeah. Even just a hello. Say hi to us. That's all you need to do.
right.
Right? And
Exactly.
you'll get you in.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Well, All-Star is still our sponsor of the week, so we're going to run their quick commercial. Please check out allstarbowlingsales.com, and they got tons of different deckling on bowling balls, clothing, all that good stuff. So please check out their site, and you can use, I do believe we still have a code 5PINU15 for 15% off all their sales. So go check it out, and we'll bring in our special guest. Alrighty. So for our podcast number 98, we got another Saskatchewanite hailing from Regina. This gentleman has 4 perfect games. Not too many people have more than 3, so quite the feat, and obviously has won a ton of stuff, and we're happy to have him. Hopefully for the next hour and a half. Mr. Doug Clark.
Good evening, gentlemen. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Dougie.
Tim thought about that before. He's like, oh, I should have done tequila night for Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
I just can't believe he called us gentlemen. Doug, you've known us long enough that
We're
that's really not the case.
we're starting on a high note here.
He is a professor, Dexter, right? So
Professor Dougie.
Yeah, I gotta get that beard back. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, it's good to have you on here, buddy. How's life treating you these days?
Life's okay. Obviously, with all this COVID stuff going on, it's not as good as to be expected. But the kids went back to school this week. They seem to be doing okay, and things seem to be turning around here in Saskatchewan a little bit. So we're hoping for the best. Not in the situation you guys are in, from what I hear. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. Good.
Lots of vaccines being taken place. You were mentioning that there's different setups and how that's rolling, and it's positive that people are getting them and going. That seems to be the key here of anything now, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, we've got the government program that's going on. We've got bookings and drive-through, and the pharmacies have opened up over the last week and a half to give out vaccines. So there's quite a few out there to give. As long as we got the vaccines in Saskatchewan, they're being taken up. So
Right.
yeah, it's a good sign so far.
Are bowling alleys open in general, though, still? Right?
They are not. In Regina, they're not. Everywhere else but Regina, they're open.
Huh, weird. Why is that?
Regina has been the hot spot for the last, we'll call
Okay.
it a month, so they shut a lot down in Regina and left everything else open.
Right, okay. That's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. Just like you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you just call us annoying?
No, yeah.
that's what I heard.
Bowling alleys in general, I mean, we talk about it every week, but it's just annoying, right? It's gotten to the point that
Yeah.
all it is, right?
Totally.
In general.
Yeah.
What do
Hopefully
you do
after
for...
the 100th podcast, it won't matter anymore. We won't have to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, we'll put a closure to it. What do you do for work again, Dougie?
Director of operations out of the Loblaw warehouse here.
At the Loblaws warehouse?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Food distribution.
Awesome.
Food distribution, yeah. So it's a very secure industry to be in right now. Everybody's got to eat with restaurants closing down. We're getting busier and busier every day, right? So unfortunately, it's very busy.
Because that's to save on foods into the Loblaws, or is it Loblaws only to
Loblaws to Superstore, No Frills, Extra Foods.
Gotcha.
Not Save On, different company.
So is the big warehouse out there in Regina?
Yeah, we got a big 1.1 million square foot warehouse, and we service
Holy man.
430 stores out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's busy.
Is it now? Obviously, given COVID as well, very strict and locked down on processes and safety and all that stuff. COVID related as well.
Yeah, 100%. We've got lots of not only mandated procedures that have come in through the government, but we put our own procedures in as well to keep our employees and colleagues safe. And it's been working fairly well. Little slip-ups here and there, but nothing that we couldn't manage.
Right. No, it's good. No, it's interesting. It's always fun. Sometimes you don't know what people do for a living, right? So it's fun to ask questions and okay. Right.
Yeah, it was quite the change after working at the bowling alley for 15 years and then decided to move on to something different once I decided to get married and settle down and needed a more stable career, I felt. So this is where I went. Ended up getting out there.
Nice.
Awesome.
And you're still in Regina and close to family and everybody's still there.
Yeah. The whole family's here, so we didn't have to move. It was good.
Now, bowling, where did that start for you? As when you were young, did you said that you guys worked in the bowling alley for 15 years, but did the family own a bowling alley too when you were really young?
No, I never owned a bowling alley, but my grandparents and parents were both involved in bowling. And from there is where Kevin and I and my sister got involved. Started through the YBC program, and from the YBC program, we progressed through there. I believe Kevin and I started right when we were able to, about 4 or 5 years old, and been bowling ever since. My sister as well. She only bowled up through YBC and didn't do much after that, but Kevin and I continued on from there.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if I've met your sister.
No, a lot of people haven't. Like the people that have been around for a while that have known my family know who she is. She's out in Ontario now, so she doesn't get around very often. So she was quite the bowler in her day, but she decided to hang it up and move on with different things.
We should ask her how it was growing up with you and Kevin. I'm sure it was pretty much hell, hey?
Delightful.
I bet those pre-bowls and those practice bowls would have been quite fun when you're on your own and just competing against your brother.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember my mom telling stories about my brother and I. We would, when we were young, in pre-bowls or practice bowling, and we'd end up in fist fights, and one of us would be in a tantrum and just like not in a good right. And my mom would be like, "Why do I do this? Why do I take you guys to the bowling alley and all you're going to do is fight?" And it's just the most unenjoyable thing that I've ever done in my life. But sure enough, 2 days later, we're back in the bowling alley doing it all over again.
How do you think Scott and Wendy still feel?
Sure.
We had our moments at the lanes, but I think I was also scared shitless to piss them off too. I don't know. I don't think we were too bad at the bowling alley for the most part, but
No.
we've probably been more fights working together than bowling together. That's for sure.
It's funny, speaking when we were younger, coming up to the YBC program, with my parents bowling a couple nights a week, we'd always want to go down and watch them bowl or keep score for them and stuff like that. One of my earliest memories is senior men's league my dad used to play in, and he used to play with Kerry Snyder's dad. So at a young age, about 7 or 8, we used to hang out at the bowling alley at the Golden Mile, actually. And while they were bowling, so that's where I first met Kerry.
Nice. Now, are you old? Who's older, you or Kevin? Sorry, I should know this, but
Well, lots of people say I look younger, but I am older.
You're definitely the better looking brother.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah.
Is Kevin watching? Hi, Kevin. Everybody say hi, Kevin. Yeah.
Hey, Kev.
So, as the older brother growing up and being, at YBC days, was he pushing, or were you, just because you're a couple years older, that you were generally always better until adult days? You know what I mean?
Well, he seems to think I was better in YBC, but I beg to differ. Just because I had a little bit more success than him in YBC, I think he was just as competitive. He really started to shine once he got out of YBC.
Right.
That's where he started to get noticed. Yeah.
Now, where'd you play YBC?
At the Prairie Lanes in Regina. It's where the Canadian Tire is now on Albert Street.
They used to run the Coca-Cola Classic there, right?
Yeah, they were that's where the Coke Classic first started. Yeah, it was a big 24-lane center with no pillars in the middle. It was a beautiful. I just loved it, but they sold it and got out of the business.
Right.
Has there been a lot of bowling alleys in the Regina area that have closed down over the years? Like the time that you remember, there's like that one you just said, but in Edmonton we could list off a dozen that have closed since I started.
No, there wasn't not that many. Like the Prairie Lanes obviously closed, and then the Bowlerdrome, which had the unfortunate accident when the roof fell in, and then they bought the Glencairn, and then Northtown. There used to be an old Northtown, which was an old movie theater, 2-level bowling alley. They shut that down to open up the new one out north. So. And Bowlerama's been around for years, so it's been a pretty consistent 4, 5, or 6 bowling alleys in the city over the years.
That's good that you don't see them closing.
Yeah. Didn't Carrie's dad run a center off Victoria Street or something like that?
Well, Carrie's dad ran a center in Melville. He ran Melville at one time.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember him running a center here, but there is an old. It's called the Victoria Club, and they've got them, and it's still there today. It's about 2 or 3 lanes, I think. Still no pin setters, like manual pin setters, and it's cool.
Not to go on too many tangents, but doesn't Melville still have a fairly decent scratch tournament that you guys go play at?
Well, they did up until a few years ago. I haven't heard anything for the last little bit, but that doesn't mean anything. Like I really haven't traveled around for the last little bit. But yeah, they had a great tournament. Especially when Rick was there, like he had a big crowd that came out to that. That was
I remember that too. Something, the rural circuit of sorts, right? Because Melville, how far away is that from Regina?
It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Right.
Like we used to have. You're right. There was a little mini circuit. Like Weyburn used to have one. Yorkton used to have one. Melville used to have one. And there were great 2-day events. It was a lot of fun to go out to those.
Right. I like those little, rural circuit sort of ones. I know there is even in Alberta, right? The VEG has their pins game, or Stettlers had their pins game. Wetaskiwin used to do it. Robert was doing it, right? Like that little circuit, if you want to play. And there's still plenty of them around right now, I think, right?
Yeah, a lot of them are more no-tap stuff, but I would love to see scratch events ran for 2 days at these little 8-lane centers all around Alberta. I think that'd be great, but unfortunately they got a lot. Sorry.
What sort of a format do you think, Carrie? Like an 8-gamer, or just a drop-in 8, or just you do like a bracket system, or
I think you do like an 8-game qualifier, and then maybe take your top 16 and play Sunday afternoon play down or whatever. Something simple, something that doesn't take a lot of effort either.
Yeah.
These ones we ran out here were 4 games. They were 4 games.
I was going to say the same thing too.
Oh wow.
Even just to rip through the shift, you're right. Yeah, 4-game shift, right? Do 3 or 4 shifts, right? Because you're right. If it's 2 days, then you want to have time to qualify, right? Whereas if you play 8-game, you're not going to have multiple options.
Yeah.
Playing all those little small town, you need like a passport of sorts with Saskatchewan bowling schools, and I've played here, right? Have you guys ever done that? There's an idea for everybody even here, is to have a Canadian bowling alley passport that you can check off where you've played. There's an idea for the higher uppers of the Bowl Canadas and the C5s to build it.
Write that down, Tim.
I think Greg
Yeah.
Pederitis has got that.
right
Got
up here.
that passport.
Yeah, Greg wins.
for
Yeah.
sure. And,
Yeah.
and if he was still around, then Terry Burns
Terry.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Terry played in how many? Didn't he play in 100 and 100 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Super cool.
There's
You know,
another
you-
stat we need to learn is who's played in most bowling alleys across the country, right? Some of these guys that have played at nationals or provincials, so many times, they would be right up there. 50, 60, 70 bowling centers. How many have you played in?
It has to be Pederitis. Greg for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You get back to these little small town tournaments. Not only did they run scratch, but they also ran a handicap version of the tournaments as well. So it was really good for pulling out people that really wanted to be competitive, but weren't quite good enough to be competitive, and see how things were rolling. Used to get a bunch of them come out as well, and actually develop some of the talent in Saskatchewan out of these handicap and small town tournaments. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, even
Interesting to see which ones.
yeah. Well, like Stetler runs that 8-game no tap tournament, and we all tend to go out there, and you see a lot of the Red Deer locals drive the hour and a half to play it, and you see a lot of the local players out of Stetler and the surrounding area come to play, and you don't see them at like the big TPCs or even the Masters or the Open, right? So to see more of those would be cool. Prime example is Rolly Chervais. You never see him at any other tournaments, but he'll show up at a 8-game no tap tournament in Central Alberta. A lot of people don't get to see him play anymore. So
Yeah. And for a guy who threw a perfect game at the Heritage Traditional,
put 10 grand in his pocket and walked out. Didn't make the
came
cut.
back.
Costanza. Yeah. Funny. All right, I like it. Rural Saskatchewan bowling circuit. We're going to start promoting it on 5-Pin U. Let's go. Who's ever running the small town tournaments, 5-Pin U will help support your tourney. Nice. Let's wrap up quickly, sort of the segment on youth. Doug, any success at YBC, and was 4 steps in some of those tournaments as a youth in days?
Very limited success. Lots of provincials went to with singles and stuff, but in 1983, I believe it was, we got to go to nationals in Sudbury on the bantam team, which was probably the highlight of my youth career.
Neat.
Lots of fun. Now, I'll touch on the youth here again too. There was also a little cash circuit for the youth here in Saskatchewan. That was phenomenal. The PA had an event, Moose Jaw, Saskatoon, Regina, and we used to travel all over. And they ran them the same way that we run the adult tournament, 8-game qualifying, and then into a step ladder the same day. Those were a lot of fun and really helped develop a lot of the youth back then. And that's where I originally met Lenny and Lonnie and the guys from PA and a bunch of the Saskatoon bowlers. That's where we originally met.
That's awesome. So sort of like we've talked before, Edmonton has its intercity, the 8 centers would play, but even take it provincial, and that's how you get exposure to the other teams and other zones. That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, I know. It was great.
But specifically for the youth bowlers.
Yeah.
Right? Playing in cash tournaments or in qualifying tournaments. Great idea.
Yeah, you had to be in YBC in order to play in there.
Nice.
Crazy.
Nice. And
That's super neat. We need to
guys
run
that you see, Lenny and Lonnie and those guys, right?
Yeah. Lenny,
Yeah.
Lonnie, Lucy.
I just can't believe Lenny can actually remember that far back. We should have canceled the youth circuit earlier, so we'd quit.
Jesus.
Kidding. But yeah, maybe a youth circuit, a WCBT youth circuit, is something that down the road we should consider.
Yeah.
I mean,
Carrie,
obviously,
put
with
it on
more
the list.
volunteers. No, I'm not saying
Yeah.
you specifically, Carrie. I'm saying get a group of people that will be willing to do that.
I think it's a great thing for like a second vice president to spearhead, right? I think that's a great thing to be part of.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm down.
Second VP's on it.
Yeah. It's a good idea, though, a youth competitive tournament circuit,
Yeah,
right? For sure. Outside of the regular programs, and it's strictly for the competitive, and yeah,
But the best part about that, you guys, was it wasn't the adults that were running it. We had a couple adults that oversaw everything. It was the kids that were running it. They put it together. They got the volunteers. They did it all.
Good
Okay.
idea.
By they, I mean we back then. Yes.
Yeah. And did you have like a junior division or a senior division, or it was pretty much
Nope.
like it was straight up? So if you're
Straight
a
up.
junior and you want to play, go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's super cool.
I like it. Okay,
That's awesome.
it's in the works.
Doug, you said you guys ran it?
We ran the one in Regina. Yeah, the group of us at the Prairie Lanes did. Yeah, for sure. And then the Saskatoon one was held at KG. And then obviously Minto and South Hill.
Is
This
still
sounds like
happening
we
now?
found the person that could run it for us.
Yeah, I see Len's on here.
Is that type of a circuit still going at all, or no?
No, that's
No.
as far as I know, it's dropped off. I haven't heard of any of the kids' cash tournaments anymore.
Yeah. Then you can build an Alberta one, Saskatchewan. Somebody else needs to revive the Saskatchewan one, build a Manitoba one. Next thing you know, you got
You got on that well. Yeah.
see where this is going.
Yeah.
So then after, there's Kevin. Hi, Kevin. Kevin made a comment. Thanks, Kevin. Yeah. Have it at the same time as the big turn. It's just their own division. They get to play with the big shooters, kind of like the amateurs. Yeah, there's an option there.
Like
You
a
know,
pro-am
they-
kind of idea.
Yeah, maybe on a different shift. I'm not sure if you want to do it full Sunday. I mean, you got a pro-am style, like you said, Gary.
It's I would think it would be hard to fit them in a shift, right? Especially if it comes back the way it was, right?
Yeah.
You got TPC that was looking at doing 6 shifts, and like these tournaments are all of a sudden reaching a ceiling point. Unless you make them week-long events, and then you can throw pro-ams in, you can throw doubles events, you can throw lots of stuff into a week-long event. Weekends are pretty much slammed now, right? But
Right.
Yeah.
Good point.
love people thinking and coming up with ideas and figuring out how we can stretch it in. If they could find volunteers to work at the center, you could run them all night long.
Yeah, an overnight. Yeah, let's put the YBC kids in overnight from midnight to 6 a.m. YBC kids
works for
get
me.
to do their shift. Anyway,
That's fine. I'm
when
pretty sure
did,
TPC weekend I get 5 hours of sleep anyways. Total. So, I mean, what's the difference, really?
But you're right, though. All the WCBT events, I mean, we're so full in the shifts and the schedule's jammed already. You know, how do you do that? I get it. That's tough.
Right.
That's the problem of the WCBT. You're so packed, and everybody wants to play.
I think it's a partnership. Maybe not so much on the WCBT weekends, but maybe if you had a good core where you can make a partnership, maybe with an open trials or with Masters, because I know Masters, like, they have 3 different locations in Alberta. That could work out on our end, I think. I don't know about other provinces, but that might be a little bit more of a beneficial.
I think incorporating a YBC segment into the Masters weekend would be pretty cool.
That's actually smart. Yeah, Saturday, Sundays.
The Yaba in Ontario, right? Why couldn't we be doing that in Alberta?
Yeah.
But
It doesn't take up
yeah.
another weekend. It gets those YBC kids used to playing in cash tournaments and into the tournament circuit. As they get to be an adult, they're going to play the WC, and the Masters. So that's a smart idea. Do it the same weekends as Masters. Yeah, good. Dex, you're already on the Masters board too, so it's a good fit, bud. Got it.
Sounds like it's my problem
Dex was
regardless.
like, "Can we move on, please? Can we move on?"
Jesus. Next thing I know, you guys are going to start talking about the rule book.
Oh,
Not yet. It'll come up sometime. Anybody have a rule for infraction that we want to talk about? Let's talk about open stuff, Doug. So obviously the open starts coming 19, 20 years old. Always wanted to play in that. Was that sort of the tournament to start playing in, and how early years of success? When was your rookie year of the open?
Well, I wish it was 19, 20 years ago, but let's try like 29 years ago. Rookie year was, I think it was 1989 or 1990. Some of you guys might not even been born yet.
Oh.
But,
We were all here. You're lucky.
Just, but yes.
Yeah, so first year out of YBC, played the Open. Big event back then. Like, it was huge. Like, we'd have to hold it in 2 centers. We'd get 100 males entered. We'd get 75 female enter, and it was a big to do. Not saying that it's not now, but it's not like it used to be. So the first year out of 100 guys that were playing, I finished 11th. I finished alternate that year. With my buddy Reno Sotero shooting a 380 his last game to knock me off that team.
Wow.
And so that kind of drove me to get a little bit better and make sure that I never missed a team again. So that's what I did. Worked the game, and it was fabulous. Like, there was so much fun back then playing in these things. Going to the provincials, there were 10 zones, lots of people, lots of social stuff going on, lots of competition. Like, it was fabulous. It's unfortunate that it hasn't carried on to be that strong for people wise, but it's still a great event to play.
Wow. So you had said, have you made every other Open since then, or you 30 years or 29?
Every other one I've played in, I've made, yes.
Nice work.
Yeah.
So we're like 25, 27, 28, whatever the number would be in there.
I don't think it's been that many, but it's been quite a few.
Now, typically, Regina qualifying always in that last weekend of January, and then provincials for Saskatchewan also Easter weekend?
No.
Or didn't we just learn that that changed last week?
Yeah. So last weekend in January for sure for the qualifying, and then it's the last weekend in March now is for the provincials.
Right.
We moved it to accommodate. I can't remember why we moved it. I think it was to accommodate the teachers because they didn't want to be bowling on their weeks off or their weekend off. I believe that's what it was. I can't remember, but anyway, it moved to the last weekend in March, and that's when we've been doing it for about 10 years like that.
Right. It's nice that it's consistent. I think we talked about that last time too, that it's nice that it's a consistent weekend, whereas Easter moves around all the time. Sure, you have the holiday in there, but it's not the worst thing to also know that it's the last weekend in March is when it is, right?
Yeah, and now, being a parent now, it's nice that it's not on Easter because I can spend Easter with my family. So yeah, I enjoy it being that last weekend in March.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how many times you hear somebody on one of the teams where they're like, "Oh, I forgot which weekend or which week it is. So it moves around, so it ain't gonna matter. Just look when Easter is."
Yeah.
So what did you always make? Men's teams, mixed teams. What was the ratio?
Well, the majority were the men's teams. First year I made it was a mixed team, and then after that, the majority were men's teams with another mixed team in there. So I think I made 2 mixed teams and
the rest men's.
A lot of men's teams. Yeah.
Now, coming out of Regina, was there a core group of guys that would make it year after year as well? I mean, your brother in there a few times, obviously, and other guys. Is it a consistency, or is it you used to have a variety of teammates?
I think there was about 4 or 5 guys that consistently made it, and then it would alternate from year to year on who made it. Right?
Who were those guys?
Your Doug McCaws, Rob Salmon, Don Clary-Hugh, Vic Kraslowitz. Those were the guys that would consistently make that team. Then you'd have like your Lane Fiesels, Reno Siqueiros that would be in there, and who else? Like Cam Robinson would be in there every once in a while, and there were lots.
Nice.
And then then some of the guys that I remember, like Peter Hansen, Gary Enick would make it here and there. Garth Larson, lots of different players coming up here and there, and obviously Snyder was in there as well. So, well, a big mix. There was a good group. There was a good core group there for a while, and we'd add in 1 or 2 players on those teams every once in a while.
Now, was there a strong ladies contingent from Regina? We know that there was from the Saskatoon area, but equally or close as well from Regina?
Yeah, they were just as strong, if not stronger.
Is that right? Okay.
Sorry, Jen Harrow. Yeah, I know there was a great core group of ladies that come up. don't ask me to name
No.
them all. Like,
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's, I think that overall we would think, I mean, at least I would, that Saskatoon has a stronger ladies contingent, right? But you definitely forget about some of the other areas and other people that were strong, and apologies that,
Yeah,
didn't know
we
that
just
fact.
get the stories from what we're getting through the podcast, right? And our memories are fresh because we had Alyssa not on that long ago. So
right.
obviously that she had quite the story of the Saskatoon ladies and her family and stuff like that. So that's super
No.
fresh in our minds. But yeah, you can see even Lenny's talking in a chat. The Regina ladies were dominant. So very cool.
Yeah, like when you go back to the days when I first started playing, and then you got into the days when Val and Bev and all of them started playing, like Angelina's and they were Linda Beretti, very strong. There's no question that one core group of girls that come up out of Saskatoon, they were super strong.
Yeah.
with Alyssa and Crystal Hibner and Coral, and they were a tough group of girls to play against, for sure.
Right. Now, how many provincials did you guys win in Regina? How many nationals have you been to? Do you remember some of those good ones?
Oh, that's a good question. It's got to be about. I'm sure I've been to 12 nationals.
Nice.
Here with the one gold in 2007 was probably the highlight of that. Lots of seconds. I think we've had probably 4, 5, 6 seconds out of that. And a few
Wow.
third. Yeah, a couple
At
no
nationals.
Yeah, at nationals. Yeah,
Wow.
I got a collection of silver medals, so I was quite happy in 2007 to get that gold.
Yeah,
You were
no
Bob
doubt.
Herman, or not Bob Herman?
Mike Warren.
Mike
Yeah.
Warren. Sorry, Mike.
But the,
Yeah.
the team that you were on in 2007, I mean, that was a pretty star-studded team. You had your brother on there. You had Steve Peters, who's runner-up at the Golden Mile. I mean, we grew up with Steve. You had Brad Mowens. I mean, Jeff Hibner and Dougie McCaw. I mean, and then of course Warren was just Warren. Warren was just there to set a lineup, right? I know he's listening too. So
Jeff was a runner-up at the Golden Mile too. Just so
he
you know.
was, yeah. Jeff was, yeah. I always think Crystal's better, right? So I know Crystal's listening too.
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah, no, that was a really fun team that year. We all gelled really well together, got along really well together, and it was probably, if I'm thinking about this correctly, it was probably Brad's breakout year. That's where he started to shine.
Right.
Yeah.
That really was.
What do you remember the lineup? I'm curious to know that.
No,
No, of course not. Anybody else remember what the lineup was that national winning year in 2007?
It was
Warren,
out in
Coach Warren.
Sudbury.
Yeah.
It was out in Sudbury for
it
sure.
was.
Yeah.
Coach Warren, tell us what the lineup was. We want to know where guys played. Where did you play, Dougie? You must know that at least. Bench or like middle? Where did you like to play? Anywhere?
I'm good anywhere. I couldn't tell you where I played. I couldn't tell you.
So
No.
I'm good anywhere.
I played a nationals against Dougie in 2013. We played at Newfoundland, I think it was, right? And
yeah.
Kevin was on that team.
Yeah.
I have a funny Warren Fleischhaker story. So we went in the bathroom, and towel dispenser's off the wall, and Dave Post goes in and he makes it no rules, like he's no hitting things or anything, and I'm the only one in the bathroom, and I come in and the towel dispenser's on the floor, and I'm like, oh my god. So I was like, what am I supposed to do? Act normal? The lineup's already out the door, so it was like a one stall thing. I was like, so I'm carrying this towel dispenser out. I'm like, I didn't break it. I swear to God, I didn't break it. And so everybody goes on there, and actually Dave Gorley was before me. I was like, did Dave do it? Because Dave was pissed off. He got pulled from Kim Chadwick. And so Dave Post goes on the mic, and he's just giving us the riot act and whatever. And then I find out it was Warren Fleischhaker. He pulled the towel dispenser too hard and fell on the floor, and he chickened out, and he ran out of the bathroom.
He wasn't even mad.
He wasn't even mad. He was the coach. Like, I mean, like, what would have happened?
Aggressively drying his hands.
Poor
That's
Warren.
fine.
Interesting though, and Doug, you can comment on, is Warren's comment there, Carrie, is best team that practiced lots more than any other team. Do you specifically remember practicing a ton for that event? Was that something that you guys often did a lot? I don't know if Tom Patterson's listening here tonight. I know he'd be loving this topic about practice. So
I think with a lot of the teams that I've been on, we practiced, but you're right. I think with this team, we did practice a lot more. One of the reasons for that, though, like a bunch of us worked at the bowling alley, so we could come down, we could practice any time of the day, right? We'd come down after leagues are over, throw some balls, get together. That was the biggest. I'm not going to say that was the biggest thing for us winning was the practice. It was the camaraderie that we built over that, right?
Yeah,
so that's where I think we shone.
Totally.
And you do build that by practicing, right?
Yeah.
By playing together and playing little games, or having little shots for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Neat.
What this makes me laugh, Warren. You'll learn really quick. If you don't want people to know, don't tell Tim.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a choice. Yeah.
Just don't do it. Was that Stephen Peters' rookie year too, or was that his second year at a YBC?
No, that was his rookie year.
It was his rookie year too. That's
wasn't.
awesome.
I think it was his rookie year. Pretty sure it was.
I just couldn't remember if because my first year of the Open was 2007, and I couldn't remember if he was a year older than me or not.
He's the same age as us. Yeah.
Is he the same age? Yeah. So
Yeah.
his rookie year too. That's awesome. What a great way to start your adult career with an Open national win. That takes the pressure off a bit, eh?
I could be wrong, but I think that it was his rookie year.
I think you're right.
Were you
Hence-
guys at nationals that year too, Dex?
No, that was just our first year at YBC. My first year of making Open, but yeah, we didn't win that year, but
Right.
yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Good for him.
My brother piped in there. It was Warren, Jeff, and Steve's rookie year.
Rookies.
That year.
Oh,
It was
wow.
Warren's rookie year coaching.
Right.
Crazy. Was that were they rookies for just nationals or rookies for provincials too?
Well, I'm guessing Warren was probably not a rookie at provincials. Probably
Maybe rookie coach.
Yeah.
Rookie coach for national.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
That's cool though.
that's awesome.
Shifting over to the Masters there. Nice little segue. Scott Barber, thanks for the comment. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Masters, did you have just as much success in the Masters since, out of YBC and start playing like the 25 Masters as well?
No, definitely. Honestly, Daryl, I didn't play Masters a lot.
Oh,
I
okay.
played only about 3 or 4 years is all I played, and it wasn't in a row. It was, working at the bowling alley, going to lots of opens, cash tournaments. I didn't want to be bowling in the summer, so I didn't play Masters. The ones that I did decide to play in, one was in Newfoundland, one was in London. Those are the two that I can remember off the top of my head. Yes, and some pretty solid teams coming out of there, but in person.
Yeah, I remember who would have been on your Masters team. So again, would that be with Len and Lonnie, a rekindling of the youth, the YBC party days?
Yeah, well, if you go back to London, I believe that the London team was Mr. Patterson. It was myself, Kerry, Len, and I believe it was Ray Bassarabo.
Okay.
And then for Newfoundland, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember a lot of Newfoundland, to be honest.
That's a common problem on
George
the East
got
Coast.
me on that one. Doug McCaw was there. Lonnie was there. Lenny was there. I think Ray was there again. Yeah, drawing a blank on that one.
That's most of them. You did good. You did good, Dougie. You did
Yeah,
good.
not bad. So like I said, I never really focused a lot on Masters. I focused a lot on helping the kids, but I didn't really play in the tournaments very much.
Mm-hmm. That's totally fair. That sounds like a really fun team to be on, though. Good group of buddies.
Well, I think most of us would say that. Tom, how did you feel about that? I don't know.
He says the last one, or Lonnie was saying the last one was Phil? Is that
Robinson.
Phil Robertson?
Bill
Robinson.
Robinson, yes.
Just turn my light.
Yes.
That must have been quite the trip at Newfoundland with Phil Robertson.
Yeah, I
It
forgot.
seems like a disaster waiting to happen.
Hence the reason I don't remember a lot of Newfoundland.
Yeah. I think we found the reason. Yep. Oh, that's funny.
It'd be tough to expect a whole lot on the lanes in Newfoundland, right?
Yeah.
I hope there's no rule and the hard rules of, no drinking until Saturday night when you're in Newfoundland.
Or just no going to George Street till Saturday night would be the appropriate rule.
All right.
We
Yeah.
shut down George Street on a Monday night when we arrived in Newfoundland in 2013.
With it being Canada Day in Newfoundland was crazy on George Street.
Yeah.
It was. I do remember that. That was a lot of fun. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
I don't think the Newfoundlanders would let you stay in till the last day. I'm pretty sure they would force you out there. So
Yeah, no, it was good.
Nice. How about we switch gears to cash tournaments?
Sure.
Did you start playing? I mean, obviously you had like you said, Coca-Cola's early on, Saskatchewan. Did you make the other tournaments as well, or where did you start sinking your teeth into cash circuit?
The first one, other than the Coke that I remember playing, that my first big out-of-town money tournament I went to was my dad was in Winnipeg. Winnipeg used to have a deadly tournament back in the day. I believe it was Dakota that held it before St. James. St. James was a lot of fun too, but Dakota Free Fall Cash Tournament, it was awesome. Mainly because I was like 18 or 19, but it was a lot of fun, Memory from that is, and my dad came up with me. There was 40 Regina Bowlers actually went up for this, but I remember going up with my dad, and he was playing in his last game of the qualifying match and got aces in the 9th frame, spared the aces in the 10th frame, spared the aces, and then aces on his last ball to make the cut.
Oh,
Holy cow.
Wow.
roller coaster of emotion.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was one of my biggest memories from there. So, yeah, so we
Wow.
started there, and then a fellow by the name of John Zivic. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he was quite legendary around here. Older Italian fellow that would bowl bocce, played CBC, TSN. Took me up to my first Saskatoon tournament at the KG, and that was quite the experience as well.
Yeah. And you were lucky enough to win the KG, and obviously I believe you won the Invitational as well. Was that in the same year, or were those separate years?
Different years.
Yeah.
After winning the Invitational in KG that one year, I was spent. Like I was done. It was. I think it was a few years later when I actually won the main event. Funny story about KG. Being a young kid, I think it was 18, 19, went up with Snyder and Lenny and Lonnie were all there, and I qualified for my first KG event, which was pretty cool. And got drawn against a guy by the name of Joe Cranbetter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For me not knowing a lot of bowlers around Canada, I'm just like, who is this guy? I should go on the floor with him, right? He just destroyed him.
Yeah.
Like I think he had 1,050 first 3 games against my 900 or something, and it was an eye opener right there. I was like, oh, I'm in a different league now, boys.
Yeah.
And to smarten up.
Anybody and everybody, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And such a nice guy. That guy, I love Joe to death.
Just
Yeah.
a soft little roll, right? Like he would just right out there, and
Yeah.
you had the little giggle, right? Right? Awesome.
Jesus.
Awesome guy.
Oh my god.
So good, but yeah, that's exactly it though, Doug. You get into those events and you make a cut and you start bowling, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, okay, you know what? It drives you. It drives you to get better, because if you don't, you get left behind. So it's kind of nice to get that experience right away and shoot 900 and lose and be like, okay, well, guess I got to work at some things,
Yeah, there was a point in the cash circuit there. Like I went to pretty much every tournament probably for about 15 years, but for about 10 of those years I didn't miss a cut. I also didn't win a mat for probably 8 of those years.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Bang bang.
Yeah. Thanks for the bang bang. Yeah, that was good.
Chitty is what I remember calling when Barbara calls me chitty. So he's like back at me. I was like number one qualifier, and of course we're staying at in Barbara's house in Winnipeg, and I high qualifier, and he didn't even go with me, the bugger, in the double spots. He's like, I didn't think you were gonna do that good, right? And then I go the next day and I lost both of them. He's like, there you go, chitty, right? So, thanks. Thanks a lot. So I always remember that. When anybody goes bang bang, it's like, hey, what's up, chitty?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It happens a lot, and that's, you live by the sword, die by the sword, right? That's what makes the Regina and the TPC so fun. You can be top qualifier, and it really doesn't mean anything when it comes to Sunday morning.
Yep.
No.
That's right.
Doug, you had talked about the Invitational earlier. When you won that, you were so spent that year. It's just been the emotion of going through the Invitational. And did you play in the Invitational every year that it was active there?
No, I didn't start. I can't remember when I started. I played about 2 or 3 years. First year I got crushed, and I think the second year I played it, I ended up winning it. And by spent, I just mean it took a lot out of me mentally to win that event. Like, there were some big names that were playing that year. Don't ask me the names because I don't remember. But they were, as we all know, KG at one point was the biggest tournament around Canada, and it was an honor and a privilege to play it. And to win that, it took a lot out of me. And I actually tried qualifying 2 more times for the main event. I don't even think I qualified that year. It just blew me up. But agreed.
Now, was it the similar format to what TPC is right now? Tim, do you know?
I think it's identical.
Yeah,
Okay.
we kind of mirrored it. I talked to Gary McKinley over that, and we kind of mirrored it exactly the same way.
Right, $1,000 and
5, 4, 3, 2. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I think that's a great add-on. I mean, even Red Deer did that this year, right? It's a great add-on for tournaments to do something a little bit more prestigious and more expensive for these events. I think there's definitely something there.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. Like the Mitsubishi Shootout, I think is what Red Deer called theirs, and then the Invitational. I do believe they started even in the same year. The less gimmicky they are, I think the better it works. Mitsubishi Shootout, I think, lost a little prestige there when they were. You were playing so many matches back and forth. A lot of people couldn't pay attention to what was happening on all 4 sides, kind of idea. Where the Invitational is pretty straightforward. You just literally, if you win your match, you move on. If you don't, you're out. You're out your $1,000, right? I played the Shootout, I think, 2 straight years. And it was fun. Like, I was lucky enough to win my money back the first year, and I think the second year I didn't make it, or maybe I didn't even play it. I don't quite remember. But it's a little bit too much going on for such a big cash event. I think if they simplified it a little bit more, it would probably do a little bit better.
And no offense to them, but also put those rules out ahead of time so everybody knows exactly what's happening before the event.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they were working on stuff still when they brought it up, right? But
yeah, for sure.
Definitely fun though.
I like the Invitational. I like how I'm biased obviously, but I like how we post who's playing who the week before, and then players are. The first year we had it, I'm not saying not a whole lot of people showed up, but now we got a lot of spectators to show up on Thursdays just to watch it, right? It's become like a main event in a way, and it's neat to have that in there. We get a lot more, and we find that we actually get a lot more people playing our earlier shifts because of it, because people were wanting to watch it, right? So
and arrive early,
Yeah, especially now with having that Thursday morning shift too, it kind of all works together. I tell you, there's the 2 most nervous things I've been for in bowling in years have been the tour finals, because you just don't want to be bad, and like really you just don't want to be bad, and the Invitational, because it's one and done. You know what? $1,000 on the line, and if you lose your first match, see you later.
Yeah,
that money's gone. But after that first match, I really feel way more comfortable. It's like, okay, house money now. Like, I got my money back, we're fine. But that first match is super intense.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the biggest thing was about the KG. You know, remember my first year of the KG, it would have been 94 or something like that. I would have been 16 and traveled with my YBC coach. And I remember coming there and arriving just for the finish end of the invitation. I was like, this is a different world here, right? And you're right, looking at the board and just the 16 guys that played in this, what is this all about, right? Pretty neat event for them to be doing, and for you to be playing back that day and to win that would have been pretty cool for you, Doug, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice. And then the main event, remember what year you won the main event and who you would have played in the final? There's a test you might know.
No.
You don't remember who you beat in the final to win the KG?
It might have been Holsworth.
Kerry might actually have it. No,
I don't have it. I have only the winners.
Okay, but you have the year though.
Yeah, I have the year. I can find that out for you.
I think it's 2005, isn't it?
I probably put it on the poster.
It was one of the last years that it was run, so it was near the end.
Anybody remember who Doug played in the final at the KG? Please help.
Help us.
Kevin.
Yeah.
Kevin Holdsworth.
Barbara says Kevin.
Kevin Holsworth, yeah.
It's probably the guy that has the loser in the.
Yeah.
No idea what you're talking about, Daryl.
Yeah.
No idea.
No idea.
Yeah, if there was an event that I wish it was still around, it would be the KG. There's so much lore and so many stories from that event. It was just, it's.
Yeah, there was. Sorry, there was 2 more years after you won, Doug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the KG was called that because that was the name of the center. But is there a talk of a tournament similar to that in Saskatoon still? I mean, obviously, Regina now has the Golden Mile Classic, right?
Well, I know Eastview tried to take that over after KG closed, and it didn't go over very well, from what I understand. Like, obviously, they're not running it anymore, so I don't know if there's a talk about that anymore.
There's obviously been some talks from some Saskatoon players that want to run another tournament, but nothing concrete has come through yet or anything like that. Len puts it perfectly. There's no hotels close to the alleys, right? That's a huge point. Yeah.
KG was
walking distance. Yeah, walking distance for a lot of these other ones makes it easier, doesn't it? Or within 2 minutes, 3 minutes, for sure.
Yeah. TPC's kind of the one that gets away with it. Well, so does the Autumn Open, right? They don't have really hotels that are that close either. You have to Uber it or find a ride, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least it's only like a 10-minute Uber, right? I mean, realistically, for ours, $10 Uber.
The thing that I liked about the KG is the consolation side, right? You would go to Eastview and you would play, I can't remember if it was 3 games, and then it would be a bracket system, right? But there was an actual event to the consolation side of things, right? It wasn't just the top 32 who got to play on Sunday. It was those guys who were 32 to 72 or 74 or whatever the number was, right? 64 that got to play.
And that's my big push for the WCBT events too, is to keep a consolation event, right? A lot of the top end players want to get rid of it, and that's all fine and dandy. But when you have 150 individuals playing in that event, it's tough just to say, okay, 32 get to play Sunday. The rest of you, thank you for your 2 shifts, your 3 shifts. Go home at $1,000 loss, right? It's giving them another opportunity to either make the main event or have a consolation event to play for some extra money, right? That's huge.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's I like the idea to make the cut, but then you're running the consolation on the Saturday night, right, for that that spot. But maybe you don't do that and you qualify. Then the next day you still have a tournament for the 33. How do you progress, right? How do you get to be that upper tier, right? So you have to work at it in a B circuit that we've talked about, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. I find I'm torn because I think the consolation's important. I like the buy-in where you're 32nd to 63 in order to create that people sticking around. but you see it especially in Calgary now. Nobody wants to play the consolation anymore. If it's after if you're 41 over and there's no buy-in or no chance to make the cut anymore.
A few people do, right?
There. Yeah,
there is some big money.
Yeah, it's built in. It's built in their prize pool.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, like if we decide, hey, you know what, if we want to open it up and we had 150 bowlers and you open it up to the next 50 people or whatever, and we want to do on Sunday with prize pool, probably get away with going Bonnie Doon. Martin would be open to it probably, and we could probably get away with it there. I just don't. My biggest worry is how many people are willing to say, yeah, you know what, I'm not no show, and that's the hard thing, because whether the money's there or not, people might just no-show it, and then it's not worth it for them on their end, right? So,
but then there's better chance for the people who didn't show. I don't think I showed up one year in a consolation, and then it's an automatic win, right? So the first thing you're playing, you're automatic winning, you're into the next round. Get 2 games of free warm-up. So, hey, thanks, pal, right?
I mean, if you look at Autumn stats the last time, I think it was, I don't know how many people they bring in, 60 people carry. I don't know how many go in the following autumn, but it's under 50% that play, right?
But they're still playing for like $400, so I don't understand why people don't play it.
The side pots are worth it, I think, more than the main event money from it, right?
Yeah.
So,
but anyways, that was something I liked from KG that that we had. It was more of a formal event, right? There was a consolation event. It wasn't just a consolation qualifier, right?
Right.
So
yeah, it worked out really well.
What about other tournaments now? Doug, you had said that you probably didn't miss a cut for a number of years. Where did you typically play? Obviously, Edmonton, you'd come to the Rose Bowl, Bonnie Doon, and then Collingwood.
Played Edmonton, played Calgary, played Winnipeg when it was still around, played Saskatoon, played Regina. Those were the main ones back then when I was playing quite a bit. I played Bonnie Doon, and I played
Collingwood,
yes, that's what I was thinking. But I played all those, so yeah. And I loved Calgary when it was at Toppler. Loved playing Toppler.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun.
Did you ever do it when it was at Chinook, right?
I did it 1 year at Chinook, yeah.
What year did it move from Chinook to Toppler?
2000, mid 2000? No, 2002, 1, somewhere in there.
I know Weber, I think, won his first Autumn Open at Chinook, and then it moved.
No, he won all at Toppler.
Oh, really?
I think Vinny was the last one to win at Chinook, if you have it.
Yeah, I do. 1997 was Vince.
Yeah.
So it changed the year after.
Yeah. Tweety won shortly after, I think, sometime.
Like 5 years after.
Yeah. But it was not. I remember Vinny because I was talking to Stacy about it. Vinny was the last one.
Now, did you have a preference, Doug, of those out of town tournaments? Which was your favorite, or what did you like about each of them?
I don't think I really had a preference. It was nice to travel to another city outside of Saskatchewan and play in these tournaments. I really I liked the location of Bonnie Doon. I like Bonnie Doon, and when you weren't bowling, you could cruise around the mall and you were entertained for a while. I liked Toppler. It wasn't far away from the mall again. I'm not a shopper, but for some reason I like malls. I don't know. I really didn't have a preference. I'd love being at those tournaments because that was my weekend to see my bowling buddies, like see all my friends and hang out and compete and socialize. Yeah, they were fun.
Now, which format did you prefer? I mean, obviously, there's all a little bit different. The top 40, and then you qualify another 8 games for Autumn Open. TPC Rose Bowl was straight qualify.
Yeah, I like all different formats. I really do. My favorite format is the one that the majority of the tournaments run right now, with your 8-game qualifying top 32 going to the match play. I like playing Calgary because it's a different format. That last day is a grind, though. If you get to that last day, and you got to be be prepared to play the, what is it, 24 games.
Yeah.
If you want to get there, right? And lots of times I haven't been prepared to play 24 games in a day. So that's a lot of games.
Yeah.
But, I enjoy the format. I really do. It's unfortunate. The unfortunate part about that format is the payout's not there, right? And this is just my personal opinion. Like I love Calgary. You get your money for making that cut, make that next level, and then it's like I don't enjoy the payout of it. It's a lot of money.
The last year since I got 200 entries, the payout was significantly better for even being 16th, right? Yeah. So the payout's coming around just due to the amount of entries.
For sure.
A lot of those years, especially when I was playing, it kind of hovered around that 120 to 140 entries. So yeah, I understand when you're paying out your top 40, the $200 entry, and then it eats away at your prize fund pretty quick. Yeah. But when you get 200 entries, it's not so bad.
Yeah, you're saying the 16th through 10th, give or take, you're not getting a whole lot bang for that.
It wasn't.
Because you have to front load the first, second, third, fourth, give or take, right?
Yeah.
Like it made it tough to want to 2 and 3 shift in those tournaments because you weren't getting your money back, right? And all the tournaments would be the same if we didn't get the entries, right? Now that we're hitting that 260, 270, 280 mark, it's a lot different. You can 2-3 shift it and get your money back just for qualifying in a lot of these tournaments, right?
Yep.
So they're all great formats. They are all great formats.
Carrie's smirking and laughing because he's been there.
I was gonna be like 4 shifted. Oh man.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. But if there's the entries, like Doug says, be prepared to play.
You're there to play. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I remember when I think my worst year in top 16s was like a 15th place finish. It was a couple years ago, and honestly, I just like, what's the point of me playing? Like, obviously, you play harder against everybody because everybody can change up and move up and down the ladder, just for being fair to everybody. But it was only a few dollars difference between 11th or 14th. But then now all of a sudden the tour standings are involved, and those points are actually very different and very. So now it's like, last game I'm playing against a 16th team. 16 bowler, and I was like, we'll just get this over with. It's actually big time. You can move up and down the standings a lot more with the tour standings, I find. So there's a little bit more to play for than it used to be.
Yeah, we got a question here. Are all the events on the schedule for the upcoming season? The WCBT doesn't move dates, so they're pretty standard. But no, they're not on the website yet. But Autumn Open is always Thanksgiving weekend. TPC is right around Remembrance Day. I think it depends if it falls on the first weekend or the next weekend.
TPC will be November 4th to 7th.
So the easiest way we changed it a couple years ago is the first Thursday in November. That's how we figure out when TPC will be.
Okay.
Yeah. And then regardless of Remembrance Day?
We just make sure that it doesn't fall on Remembrance Day. So it's always the weekend before Remembrance Day, because if it lands on Remembrance Day, we just lose our shirt. Yeah.
Right. And then Regina is always the last full weekend of February. That's and Red Deer is the first weekend in May.
Mother's Day.
Yeah. So as far as we know, the first one being the Autumn Open for the WCBT event is Thanksgiving weekend, right? And it's right now it's on schedule, planning to be ran, all restrictions hopefully lifted by then. Crossing fingers, Mark. Let's have start off the season. But yeah, that's.
Mm-hmm. What about?
Sir, go ahead, Doug.
4th to 7th, Len. 4th to 7th. Book it.
November 4th to 7th.
I'm not sure if Winnipeg's involved with the WCBT yet or not, but I know that they had a tournament planned this year. Do we have dates for next year because of
COVID? Second weekend of December.
2nd of December.
Yeah. They're not part of the WCBT yet. There's some criteria they got to hit, but it's definitely in my schedule to go. So.
And if it's anything like the tournaments they used to run, I'll be there as well.
Yeah.
Good. So we got
Can't wait for
October,
it.
November, December lined up for events that we're planning to go to for sure. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, book tickets. Miller, looks like you need to get your entry forms open for Autumn Open.
That's right.
But yeah, he had asked earlier about open to ideas. Obviously, no need to change anything to do with the tournament, the format, all that stuff. It's really just about getting the entries, so people supporting playing early. Maybe there's that early shift on the Thursday, which I think they did last year, right?
No,
Okay, they did.
I don't
thought
think
they
so.
did.
No.
We did, but they didn't.
Yeah. Anyways, that would be the thing, right? As people start committing and start booking, their shifts, yeah, you're ready to go. Add in a shift on the Thursday. So good. Everybody's just jacked. Everybody wants to play.
Yeah, Winnipeg may be the first weekend December, it looks like.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's a question mark, and he's probably not sober right now, so I I really wouldn't trust it, but there's a possibility.
Yeah.
He's probably playing poker.
Yeah.
Bowling is really big in bowling, I tell you.
It is. It really is.
I'm pretty sure Barber just invited 5-Pin Universe to stay at his house, so we're in.
Perfect. Love you, love you, Barber. Let's go.
Yeah.
What about Red Deer, Doug? Did you ever play Red Deer? Of course, that's a number of years. How many years has Red Deer been playing?
They've been 12 years now, 13.
Is that right?
I think.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So,
did
yes,
that one, Doug?
I have played Red Deer once. I made a commitment. It was 2-3 years ago to try to get to every tournament, and I did get to Red Deer one that year. And really, obviously, another different format, and really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that format as well. Again, first of all, but I'm getting older now.
Yeah, because what is it? On the Sunday, there's 32. There's 4 groups of 8.
Yeah.
Right? And then you break it down to 4 groups of 4.
As the great Len Anseth said in those groups, you just don't have to be. You just got to be average. You just got to be middle pack. You don't have to be the best. You don't want to be the worst. And you move on. Yeah. No, it was a really interesting format. Obviously, I didn't take his advice very well, but.
Didn't Consolation run like that for TPC one year or something? Or you still do it that way that the bottom half are out?
It used to be cut in half after every game.
See, I kind of know a lot of Consolation formats. I'm kind of the connoisseur.
I won that one, DB, so I happen to know that one.
Yeah, but I like that though, right? It's the cut in half rule. Oh, just go look around.
Beat Heidi?
Yeah. No, I beat
Heidi that year. Yeah.
I beat Graf.
Okay. Yeah, I liked that format. I just wish it didn't take so long. But when our weekend was already so long, I'm pretty sure that night I didn't leave the bowling alley till 5 a.m. So that had to change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like that format. Just cut everybody in half because, it's not match play where, you bowl a 300 and everybody else shoots 250 except for the guy you're facing and you're out. It's kind of fun. A little bit better for the more consistent bowler.
Let's just have a little candid conversation. And I know where the proprietor side is on this. There's definitely no doubt. How happy are any of us with a 3-game qualify or a 3-game consolation? Yeah, it sucks.
It does suck. Yeah,
it's horrible.
100%.
Yeah,
but you know what? I've won one in Regina before, so I can't complain.
What do you mean?
Yeah, wait.
Ask Brad Moans that question.
Sorry, a 3-game for the one winner to take it to go on?
Yeah, 3-game total pinfall. You get the 32nd spot.
Yep.
What are your options?
Well, if it wasn't a proprietor issue, you could do match play. You could do the cut in half situation, right?
But we're saying it's a proprietor issue because of the timeline it's going to take.
Yeah,
Otherwise
exactly.
You're playing till 5 o'clock in the morning. So
Our final shift won't finish until
11.
10,
So
30, 11.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It
there's
really
another
sucks,
option.
but yeah.
But I also don't mind it, right? Because if you're that guy that throws a 350 your first game, because there's going to be a handful of people that are at 300, right? Like obviously there's a handful of people that don't and they're automatically out, but maybe you go 370, right? But it's kind of a fun. It's a sprint. It's 3 more games. All you got to do is hang on for 3 more games, right? And if you can pull your shit together, you never know what happens.
No,
I don't
for
mind
sure.
this idea. Warren saying to start the constellation at 8 in the morning on Sunday instead and have the winner, move on at that point. I don't mind that. It has some issues like with the I guess
How
with
many
the way
years-
with the
No,
way
no,
Gino
no.
runs our
No.
the thing that we don't talk about. That would be okay, but
Really hurts the Calcutta sales, is what you're saying.
that's exactly what we're saying.
And the bar sales after.
But-
yeah, you can't
but-
do it. No.
But with the way
no.
Gino does it, that doesn't matter.
Raffling off it, yeah.
And it also makes the Sunday a little bit longer, which is okay because most of the time we're done by 6-ish now. So if that means that we're done at 8 instead, that's still pretty decent. It's almost better for the bowling alley in a way.
Only sucks for the people, I guess, trying to drive home the Sunday night, but then just stay the extra night and go home Monday.
I'm
Right.
thinking of the 31 other people who don't get to have any fun Saturday night because you're all focused on having to be up and early and 6:30
To play the consolation.
Honestly, those ones who
I'm
still
sorry,
want to
get that thing over with, and I'm going to party.
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
if I
true
made it,
enough.
okay, I'm in. There's only one person that you're in, unless you're running a consolation event the next day, right? I like the idea for the fact that the championship doesn't have to play until 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
A little bit later, so you can have your little sleep in and, right? Little eggs Benny in the morning and get yourself ready, but yeah. Anyway, lots of ideas, like the many chatter about different tournaments and consolations and stuff. So,
Mark.
anyways,
Yeah.
No, Mark. No, Miller. No.
Okay. Well,
no, you have to have that. That's the 8-person final shift. That's a
That's
guarantee.
the grind, man. That is the grind. If you want to make that cut, you are stuck playing that shift. That's all it is.
Yep.
It
That's
saves
your
on
punishment
time.
for it.
Saves on time, but yeah,
Yeah.
you need it. You need to have 5 people. You got to have that.
Hold on, everybody. Mark's got a question. ...
Or he's saying that was a question. He said that was a question. Or yeah.
3 shift.
3 shifts of 3 or 2 shifts of 4 or 5.
Oh, you're saying on Saturday, instead of having 2 big shifts, have 3 little shifts?
I'll be okay with 3 little shifts.
Yeah,
but
but
then-
16.
but
How do you
But
see
they-
it? How do you
they-
see to those last bowlers that didn't get their entries in on that last shift?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Mark,
still have a Weber in there and make it just as slow, right? So
yeah, because ultimately you're still looking at 5 hours a shift or 4.5 hours a shift, right? Plus now you have to do more work in between, right?
Yeah.
So you have to set up every shift in between. You're gonna have more people coming in, more people leaving. It's still gonna take 40 minutes in between each shift. Ultimately, it's gonna be the same amount of time.
Yeah.
It's just
And if it's
Yeah.
if it's the same amount of people, then what's the yeah? You're gonna have people that have booked their 2 shifts on Saturday. I'll book my morning and the afternoon shift on Saturday. And it's not going to be that hard. You're not going to get the people that are going to come Thursday and they want to put their first shift down on Thursday,
yeah.
right?
As-
Second shift on Friday, third
And-
shift on Saturday.
As bad as it sounds, too. I mean, when you have a 5-person shift, there's more boost sales too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
A lot more boost too.
That's for sure. From proprietor side, I think the big shift is better, right?
Yeah.
Because you get people staying there longer. They'll probably eat. They'll probably have some drinks, right? Where if they're rushing through, you lose a lot of, I guess, some of those sales and stuff like that. It's definitely better for the bowler because the shift is just faster. Makes
sure
more
it is.
sense, but
I think that's the punishment. If you want to, we're opening up shifts on Thursday, Friday morning. We have all these different shifts. That's the punishment for not making it beforehand. Ultimately, right? And I'm not worried about getting anything done earlier for the consolation. The consolation is the least priority, I think, out of all of it. I mean, again, that's your punishment sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you don't want to bowl that long shift. bowl better before.
Thanks.
To be
That should be a
hon-
sound bite. That's a
Yeah.
sound bite ready for Dex. Yeah.
100%.
Let's
Do better.
This constellation talk reminds me of COVID talk. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah. We're moving on.
It really just
Keeps
annoys me.
coming up.
Yeah, it's over. It's done with. So we're
Tim,
okay.
but Tim, you haven't made a ton of cuts lately, so maybe the constellations you should start to
You
pay a
should.
little bit more attention.
Yeah.
I don't really care. It is
Let's
what
move
it is.
on.
I'm just happy to bowl again.
Let's go to cash games or TSNs. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, we sort of touched base with it off air a little bit. Obviously, you played some CBCs and TSNs, or I do believe, right? One of our viewers did let us know that you had quite an experience flying home from one of them. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Sure. Played a couple CBCs and a TSN. The TSN was in Toronto, and it wasn't the bowling that was the experience. Actually, it was flying home. Flying home was September 11th, 2001. And it was quite the experience flying home. I was actually in the air when 9/11 was going on, and we got stranded. And they actually made us land in Winnipeg. Didn't tell us what was going on. Told us to get off the airplane. And as we were landing, you could see piles and piles of airplanes on the runway, and you knew something wasn't right. And from there, you got off the plane. We got into the airport. They still wouldn't tell us what was going on. There's no TVs on. And I finally had to phone back home once I was able to get some cell service and find out what was going on, and was told what was happening. So it was quite once you realized what was going on, it was quite scary. The bad part was it was pretty tough to get home from Winnipeg because all buses were booked, all rental cars were taken, everything. We ended up calling, I don't know if you guys know who Rich Johnstone is, but he was up there with me and his daughter Michelle. And we called his son to drive out from Regina to come pick us up.
Oh wow!
So it was. I think we took off from Toronto about a half an hour before this had happened. Had we not taken off, we would have been in Toronto for an extra 3 or 4 days. Yeah, so that was quite the experience.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
How long of a drive is it from Regina, Winnipeg? 8 hours?
5 hours.
5 hours?
Yeah, 5.5. 5 hours if you drive like me. Yeah,
so when you guys got off the plane and stuff, were you just in the terminal and you seen on the televisions what was going on, or did they notify you before you got off the plane? How did that work?
The airport didn't tell us anything. I got off the plane, went through the terminal, went outside for a cigarette, and was not allowed back in the terminal.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. It was as we've seen over the years and all the stories. It was not as traumatic as what everybody else went through, but it was very confusing and very disturbing for me as well. The experience of the TSN itself was great. The flight home, not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably talk about that. Let's talk about the actual tournament.
So, because at one point in time, the TSN tournament moved around, right? It wasn't in the last couple of years. At the end, it was always in Calgary. But was it every 3 years or 2 years did it move around?
I don't remember. I know it was moving around. Like I played a CBC that was in BC at this beautiful brand new center in Richmond. I can't remember what it was called, but it was beautiful. And then we were in Toronto for the TSN. That I think it was the same year actually, and a nice center in Toronto as well, but hot and humid in the middle of summer.
Right, because that's when they filmed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think who did I stay with that year? I think it was Mr. Boone that I stayed with that year. That I roomed with at the TSN. That was fun in itself.
Do you remember how you played?
I didn't fare very well in any of them that I played in. Again, tough competition when you got out there. It was really tough. You had very limited time to practice. I don't know if you guys ever got the experience to play. Very, very limited time to practice, and then all of a sudden you're on camera and you're playing. And, and I'll credit Tom Patterson's bowling school for this. The cameras and the lights and everything didn't really bother you because you got used to that when you were in bowling school. But I just didn't bowl well.
Yeah.
I plowed a lot. Anytime I'm under pressure, I plow a lot. I can hit the middle like there's no tomorrow. But
I'm wondering if Carrie is in the background right now trying to dig up the old footage of that, Doug, to see if we can find it.
well, good luck because I've tried numerous times and I can't find it anywhere.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Kevin's
also
victory
did the CBC side of things too.
Yeah, I did the CBC twice, and again, didn't fare very well. But it was quite the experience. You got treated very, very well when you went there, and it was a lot of fun. So,
yeah, I think that's something that obviously it's fun about the WCBT and the tour finals, right? Is that's now being filmed, and it's the preparation, like you said, Dexter earlier, but that's something that you were genuinely nervous about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just such a different experience. Cameras on you, nothing else is really going on besides that match, and that people are gonna sit down and watch us after. People are talking about you, and every shot that you make and mistake that you make or good shot that you make, all of that, and it's going to be there forever. So like I said, you just don't want to be bad. Like you don't want to go out there and be like, oh man, I shot a buck 60 on this and got my ass kicked. Like that's just that's the fear more than anything, I think.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy on TV that shoots that 2-pin on your first ball and is there forever. I know a few guys that went on to CBC and did that. So
Yeah. I remember one, was it Len Anseth? He missed that corner twice, and then his buddies razz him still today about that missing that corner twice on TSN. That video where he threw the ball and he kept on walking and he threw another ball. It's funny. I think Lonnie shared it. It was quite funny though, and it's you're forever in lore and that kind of stuff. But I think Lenny ended up winning that match though.
But you're right, though. I'd be as nervous as heck. My knees would be knocking.
Yeah.
First one, you go and you rip a deuce, and it's right. You might pull it back together, and you might win the match, right? Yeah. But you're the guy who threw the deuce on your first ball. Oh yeah.
It was three pin through the hole. That was it from Lonnie.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? 3-pin through the hole. I think that's still even if you're in league, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do 3-pin through the hole. Count 3, right? We've all done it.
Yeah. I don't know. I definitely think that probably CBCs and TSNs would probably be more nerve-wracking than the Tour Finals. As much as the Tour Finals are nervous for me, but you start having those big cameras out, and you got the big lights on you, and apparently it's super hot. And I never found the Tour Finals all that overly hot or anything like that in there too, and then you add in the name TSN on top of it. It's something that everybody knows, and it's going to be on national television, not just within our own little circle too. I bet you that was such a fun experience there, Doug.
Oh, they were all fun experiences. Essentially, it wasn't an Open or a Masters, but you're there with the top 16 bowlers from across Canada that have qualified out of their provinces and areas to be there. So it was a lot of fun, and they treated you well.
Yeah.
But the difference, from what I remember, Dexter, the reason wasn't so nervous was because it wasn't done on your time. If they had a malfunction somewhere, you had to stop and wait.
Yeah.
Are you laughing at me?
No.
I'm laughing at the fact that we had to have a close-up of Tim.
You don't have the screen all right. What's going on here, Carrie? Can't you?
No, my bad. My internet dropped out, so I gotta move things around here.
Yeah, sorry, everybody who's watching.
And now that we've got that cleared up, especially with CBC being a union shop, I remember the one time there was the middle of a match and the sign had fallen down. They had to stop the match in order for them to get the sign hung up because they had to call the right union colleague to do it.
Wow.
So it killed a lot of momentum and stuff. So it wasn't as nerve-wracking as a Tour Final when you're playing on your own.
Yeah. That's
Fun.
really crazy. Yeah, I couldn't imagine having like Carrie tell me to stop partway through a match and be like, "Yeah, no, you gotta wait commercial break."
Yeah.
Especially when you're on a little 10 bagger, right? 11
Yeah.
I'm already trying to slow him down, but that ain't working either. So we're gonna have to introduce a commercial break. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So on that
What was
note,
it- what was
I
your
didn't-
match? 8 minutes, you and Taylor?
8 minutes 11 seconds.
Worst thing for television ever.
No, it would have been terrible if it was 8 minutes 11 seconds and we shot a 160 to 180. That would have been terrible.
It's still terrible for television, no matter what.
I don't think so.
How do you fill a 30-minute episode when you got 8 minutes of bowling?
Yeah. I think we bring back the red light.
You know what? I would be okay with that because at least when the red light's off, I can go at whatever pace I want.
That's right.
I would be okay with that. I'd be more okay with that than having to change the way I play to slow it down.
I mean,
It's kind of funny you guys were talking about that because so 10 pin the PBA has, it's called a shot clock. So you have a shot clock, you have to get rid of the ball before or you get fined, and they also have a shot clock in between frames. So you can't throw the ball before that shot clock is up. So it puts the episode into a proper time frame, so it's better for television so they can fill their time slot and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Did you guys
I like
ever
that.
play KG when they had the time clocks?
No, never got the chance to.
I was there watching it when Jackson,
Yeah,
right?
I heard it.
Yeah. Yeah, smashed it. So, did you play in that?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I actually played a match against Len Anseth, and we barely beat the clock.
Really?
You barely beat the clock.
I'm being sarcastic.
Oh, okay. I don't recall. Are you a fast bowler, fast prep, and fast setup?
Yeah, match play I am. Yeah, I think it took us maybe 10 minutes to play 3 games or something.
Oh wow!
Yep.
Forget lane courtesy. Let's just bowl 3 games and get them done.
It didn't take us long. But there was
So-
I don't know, was it Jackson that ran out of time? Somebody ran out of time and they didn't get to finish.
Well, I can't remember who it was, and I mean, somebody help us out here. There was a match, and it came to a point of this clock and smash. That
Yeah,
was the-
I-
Jackson.
I think the story was Jackson kept forgetting to turn his time off, and finally he had enough because people were telling him to hit it, and so he hit it with a ball.
Right. So we got comments. Wasn't Jackson Phil Robinson? I think Phil Robinson might have
Could've
been
been
playing
Phil.
in the match though.
I think,
Phil would make total sense.
yeah, it could have been Phil and Cam
But I
Boone.
feel like it was Phil and Jackson playing maybe in the match. I don't know.
I
It
don't know.
it-
How-
I
Phil
remember
was
it was-
notorious for like running off and getting his
Yeah.
crazy Jerry's or
Yeah.
whatever, and yeah,
How
Yeah.
can you do
A
that
lot
to
of people are
somebody,
saying
though?
Phil.
I don't know. I just, how can you do that to somebody, right? They're coming to your tournament. I know there's a time frame you want to get done by. There's nothing else coming after you on a championship Sunday, right? There's
But-
thousands of dollars on the line.
I think it's a matter of making it fair and equal for people. I mean, like look here we are at Autumn Open the one year, and I don't mind saying this. Kevin Holdsworth pissed me off. Like, you know, I'd be. It's a single game match. You should be done in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 12 minutes, somewhere in that range. And I literally had a 20-minute break in between every match because his match would take half an hour every
Sounds
time.
sounds like a you problem.
Yeah,
It wasn't just a me problem. It was a lot of people problem.
I
We
think
all
it's
hung out
great.
in the stairwell waiting.
I
Doesn't
think
bother
it's
me
great.
none.
Yeah.
I think it's good because you know why? By the way, Kevin sent me a photo of Doug's clipping, so he is listening. So thank you, Kevin, for sending that to me. But I think it's good because I like playing against different people, and I like playing against different how they play against me. And if it's become the same way against each person, I think it becomes a totally different ball game, right? I like playing against Len because with Lenny, like I have to play at my game and because he's so fast, right? Same as Dexter. And you know, if I'm playing somebody who's slower, like you know Adam or Kevin, even though I can't beat Adam, Adam or Kevin, all right, I have to learn how to adapt my game to them, right? Like not to them, but how do I deal with myself, right? And If you come in with a shot clock and all this other stuff, you know what? Unless they're dicking around really hardcore about things, just let her have it. Like, it's really not the end of the world to me.
Yeah, but realistically, Tim, though, back in that time, people were asking for time count license, right?
And
so
if
they
were,
tried it.
that's fine. Yep.
It was getting pretty out of hand. Like there were some guys that were really slow.
And
it was intentionally slow. That was getting to the point of like, this is obnoxious, right? Like you're being an asshole here. Like it's time to. We got to do something about this.
When half the tournament has to like take 2 frames to warm up because they haven't thrown a ball in 20 minutes, like that's not really all that fair.
And that was a problem.
I definitely give them the A for the effort for trying it. It didn't work. Okay, we moved on from there, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen one since.
Yeah.
No.
All right.
I just wouldn't want to be that guy to be like, by the way, your time's up. That's really
you don't want to be that guy. But anyways.
Yeah.
Anyways, Doug, something that I'll chat about is, you're not young anymore, right? You're working on late 40s. What are you at now? You're getting an old man here. You're 50. I think we said Steve Parchusti said that you were.
I turned 50 last year.
Yeah. Congratulations. Okay. But how do you keep that competitive fire? Do you still have it? Where does bowling keep going? How do you deal with the changing in your body and the family and all those things that go along with age?
Well, definitely the competitive fire is still there. The body, not so much. I don't know if my body ever was there, but bowling is not rocket science, and you guys all know that. We are our biggest competitors. It's our mind game. Anybody can go out there and throw a ball down the middle with the right stuff on it and get a strike, right? But to do that consistently, and it's battling yourself. It's training your mind to overcome a lot of that stuff. That's kept me competitive. Now, would I say if we went on the lanes tomorrow, I'd be competitive? No, because I haven't thought about bowling for pretty much a year and a half, right? But when this all comes back, I've got some training to do to get myself back into that competitive sport again.
Yeah, I think obviously all of us are kind of in the same boat. Like we're all going to have to grind and get back to where we were for sure. But Doug, you're probably one of the last people to throw a perfect game. Like to me, you're probably still in the height of how you can play. So I don't really think you actually have that much to get back where you were. You're still pretty good.
It depends. Some days I think I am. Some days I don't think I am. Yeah, the skill's there. I don't think once you learn the basics of bowling, and this is just my opinion, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Once you learn the basics and how your muscle memory and stuff work for the game, not a lot changes. It's in your mind, and that's where everything changes. I've lost a lot of events because of what I think. And I can talk myself out of every fucking lead I've ever had. Oops, sorry for that.
No, you're good. You're all good.
And I've done it time and time again. And I'll give you an example for that. Last year at the last time we played the Classic, shot 1,070 for my first 3 games and never made the cut. Well, I did that back when I was 18. And what did I do after I shot that 1,070? How did I screw that up when I was back 18? And I did it again. We didn't average 200 for the next 5 games. So it's not about the ability and being able to do it. It's about here.
Right. It's kind of funny. I just read an article about Dexter's favorite golfer, Phil Mickelson, and he kind of even said that now he's at that 50 plus age. He finds himself his physical game's there, but his mental game isn't. He's missing on certain things he should be focusing on, and it's just his focus just isn't there. Is that kind of the same line that you're kind of thinking? Your focus is just missing at certain points?
Yeah, 100%. And you notice that once I got married and started to have kids, my priorities are different, and that mental game just isn't where it was at. My life doesn't revolve around bowling. it's my social life and it's my competitive life right now. But it's not a lose or die. I don't go out if I don't make a cut. Oh well, sorry. Or
So-
at least I try to compete, right?
So how are you going to work on that? Do you read books? Listen to podcasts? Do you just have to simply go and bowl more to feel more confident, or how are you going to work on that mental side of things?
To me personally, I think there's a couple things that I'm going to start doing once bowling comes back to get there. Definitely reading a few books isn't going to hurt. And I just started doing this today, and I went for my first float today, and I found it very rewarding. It's very relaxing and gives you lots of time to self-reflect, and I think that's going to be part of my routine when I come back to bowling.
That's a big one. I haven't heard that before, but I've always been, interested in trying that. It's the feeling of just sinking there and feel like you're not going to go underneath. So,
Yeah.
did you have that fear, or how did you decide to
It's,
do
it's
a float?
it's not even the fear of sinking. It's just you are in. I don't know the word for it. It's you have no feeling. You're not sinking. You're floating. It feels like you're floating in air.
Oh,
And
it's
so-
one of those isolation chambers, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
But it's a float, right? Like you're in
Yeah,
really
you-
heavy
You're in
salt.
You're in salt water. You're
Yeah.
You're floating around, but everything's kept at room temperature. So you're out. Anything outside of the water is the same temperature that's in the water, and you're not touching anything at all. So it just feels like you're floating around in space. There's no lights. It's if you've never tried it, try it.
Yeah, so you're really just sitting there and just allow yourself to go into this state of,
Yeah,
like you said, sensory deprivation. Just
that's what it is.
neat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very neat.
That's awesome. So if you've never tried it, give it a whirl.
So you feel
How,
like that's something that will help on the mental side of things because you're able to relax into so far into the time, take yourself back to what you were feeling in that moment.
Yeah, it honestly was because while I was in there today, all I was thinking about was past, because this was coming up tonight, was past bowling experiences and things that I've accomplished and things that I failed on, and it was and you're in there for 90 minutes, an hour and a half,
Holy crap!
Wow,
and it went by like that.
Fun.
that's crazy.
We're gonna have 5PNU all going doing a float this week. Let's report back next week.
If you start here screaming from the other chamber, don't worry.
Desher might have drowned.
No, I'm the one that can swim.
He's an anchor, even in salt water. Yeah. So I guess Doug, obviously your mental game has been huge and it's been great. If you were to tell somebody one thing, what it would be, I guess.
If I was to tell somebody one thing, what would it be?
Yeah.
Work on your spares.
Yeah.
Strikes for shows, spares for dough.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I'm writing this down right now.
Where's Mitch Davies when you need him?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Mitch is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Spares
Yeah.
don't win shit.
I just so disagree with that. You can't throw 10 baggers every day, every
Yeah.
game. You need that spare game.
I agree.
It has to be there.
I like some of the themes of today. We've talked the mental side of games, the sparing things, the longevity in sport. How to keep it going this long. So some good.
I want to bring
highlights.
that. I think we should run an event in the tour that has the counter pin in it. Bring that back as a little side event.
That's like a Friday
Cool.
night or a Thursday
Yeah.
night little fun event. Totally.
Forget the note tab. It's not going to be counter pin night.
Yeah.
Consolation.
Yeah. there you go.
Constellation
I-
counterpin.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because couldn't the runs go pretty up and down?
Oh yeah.
Right. Like you could go 3 frames in a row that you don't have a counterpin.
I would
then you
love to get a low game. I would love to see a low game of like 30. I would love to see it. I don't know. I would relish in that stuff.
Oh man.
Yeah.
How How about the next generation here, Doug? Your kids bowling? Have you getting the family involved in the sport as well?
Oh yeah, for sure. Both the girls are in YBC right now. When they're allowed to be, obviously when bowling's around. My oldest daughter loves it to death, and my youngest daughter is between bowling and hockey right now. So, love coming to watch Dad bowl. Love coming to. They're a lot like me when I was young, and we'll see where it takes them.
Nice.
Yeah.
And are they, fairly competitive too? That they're,
No,
no.
no.
Which is almost good for right now, right? I mean, you don't need to be competitive. You're still young. Just
No, they still
enjoy what you're
enjoy.
doing and have fun doing what you're doing and get a trophy and
Yeah.
just want to show up each week. That's all, and want to learn a little bit and throw some balls.
They still enjoy the game, so they're not that competitive. And hopefully through the years, they get some of the same experiences that I got, where they make some lifelong friendships. And if they decide to continue on with it, good for them. If they don't, whatever they decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you coach them?
I try. I'm a terrible coach, Dexter. I don't have any patience.
Considering let's
Tom
scroll
already
up
mentioned
here
that,
and
yeah.
find
Yeah, Tom said, yeah.
Doug is one of the best working with youth. I don't believe you for 2 seconds there, Dougie.
All right,
I'd like to see.
maybe I
I'd
don't
like
have
to see that
patience with my children.
you've switched over to your left hand there. Well done drinking that now.
It's just water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks pretty bubbly.
One of the cool things on your bio, and a lot of our guests we've had the fortunate of chatting with, is in 2009, the top 100 bowlers were named, and you, of course, are one of those, Doug. So that's a pretty cool feeling and accomplishment. How was it when you got the news that you were on the list?
To be honest, it was pretty exciting. You don't realize how exciting it is until you realize how long the game's been around and how many bowlers have actually played the game. And to be named in the top 100 of that many bowlers. At one time I did know that stat, but I don't know what it is now. But yeah, it was an exciting announcement for me. And I'm not going to say I worked hard to get that, but I worked hard at my game, and that was one of the rewards of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right, to get that, right, to say,
Yeah.
the hard work has paid off, the tournaments, the things you've played into it, sure, to get a little bit of recognition and reward is pretty solid.
To be honest, and not just tooting my own horn here or anything, but there's only 100 people that have ever played this game that can say that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. And to have your name, it's not obviously etched in stone, but on banners and stuff like that on the website, and with all those great players that everybody hears them, their household names in 5-pin bowling, and to have your name included in that and be considered a household name is unbelievable. And
yeah, it's actually overwhelming at times.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty cool idea.
Who else from Saskatchewan? Because it was basically by province. Tim, do you got that handy of the other people that were?
Well, I think the guys off the top of my head right now, I'm pretty sure that Kevin was there and Doug McCaw. Those are the two that I can name off the top of my head.
Let me look.
Lloyd Weens, Gordon Chrissy, maybe.
Lloyd Weens, yeah.
For sure.
Weens, no.
No. Just a good question from David here. Wasn't there a male and female top 100?
Yeah.
It was 50 and 50, right?
50 and 50.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see Lloyd Weens on there. Pizzy.
Kevin Clark said Don Clairhue.
Oh, Clairhue, yeah.
Clairhue was on there. Doug and Kevin.
Cool story. My first ever cut at the Coca-Cola Classic.
Patterson. Sorry.
Don Clairhue got kicked my butt in the first round.
Patterson, McCall.
I was like, look at this guy. I should be doing good. Nope. Yeah.
Lennon Tracy.
So that's my Joe Cranberry story.
Yeah.
But it's funny, you know what? I used to travel with Don to many tournaments and stuff, and Don was one of the best I've ever seen shoot a strike. He was so consistent. He would come out and practice 40, 50 games a week, and he'd go to a money tournament, make the cut, and shoot 900 and somebody beat him. Shoot 900 and somebody beat him. And he just it was blowing his mind that he was getting beaten. He was a great guy, different guy, but phenomenal bowler. Put him in the anchor every day.
Yeah, he was pretty gracious in his win. He shook my hand and everything, and I don't think he looked twice at me after we started the match.
Yeah. So, Doug, what about a couple comments about playing with your brother? Obviously, we've talked before about some of the great brothers that have played the sport. We've got Tim and Dexter right now. 20 years from now, you guys are going to be looked at as some of the all-time great brothers that have played. How does that feel, getting a chance to play a sport so close to him and competing with him for so many years?
It's always twofold. It's always been a privilege and an honor to play with my brother, but I'm sure Dexter and Tim, you feel the same way. He drives you nuts sometimes, right? Great bowler and tough to beat. And sometimes we just don't see eye to eye like brothers do. So we have our little battles, but always an honor to play with him.
Yeah. Play the sport and throw some strikes together and come off the lanes and give some high fives.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's next year looked for you, Doug? You're in the lineup, ready to play Autumn Open? Get back to leagues. What do you normally play in a league?
I play one league a week now. That's all I've played for the last little while. Right now I'm playing a men's league out of the Glencairn Velodrome. A lot of fun. And next year, every summer for the last 15 summers, I've talked about retiring.
Adam Weber?
True story.
Tim Wiseman?
Ask my wife. I tell you, but I don't think it's time yet. So play a league, and we'll see how COVID takes us. And if the tournaments are around, I'm sure I'll hit 2, 3, 4, 5, depending what family allows me to.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, that's good to hear. It's exciting.
Any poker tournaments coming up?
Well, there's always poker tournaments on Sundays, Tim. Every Sunday.
Yeah.
Now that it's nice outside, I'm spending a lot more time outside doing the yard work and stuff. But I'm waiting for another Mark Johnstone home game. I want to be a three-peater. I want to be a three-peater in that one. So
I think I've heard rumblings about Saturday night. There might be some chat. So
you're only allowed to play if you put your camera on.
Yeah.
I had my camera on the last one. You were gone already, though.
Yeah, I didn't knocked out. Yeah, chitty chitty. You were chitty chitty.
Oh. I didn't play.
Yeah, we're hearing rumblings that you're quite the poker player there, Doug. So I'm not sure if we want to get into any late night, tour poker games or card games with you.
Sometimes luck runs on my side.
That's what all the good players say. It's all luck.
Yeah,
sure.
That's awesome. I sure wish and have big dreams of being able to play good online poker, but
I got to clarify, and my wife gives me shit for this all the time. It was both of us playing. We were taking turns. Like one of us would watch the kids for a bit and hang out outside, and the other one would. So it was a tag team effort for that big tournament that we won.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and she's just as good, if not better, than I am at poker. So,
do you guys play like similar styles, or?
That's why his camera is off.
See, that I like that. No, that's gonna make it really tough.
She doesn't like bowlers, so she won't play with us.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's gonna make it tough on your competitors, especially if they start figuring out your patterns, and then all of a sudden you
Let's not
bring
tell
her
them
in.
that.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm not going to divulge that. But,
Yeah, true.
but yeah, no, it's definitely something that we've been able to do over these COVID times is sit down and play a little bit of poker together and entertain us.
Yeah, I know.
totally.
I mean, I think I've only played a couple, but I know Johnny's obviously organizing him, and I think the guys he's having a great time organizing, and I think
But I
keeping
love
a
those.
connection with everybody. So it's awesome. Yeah.
I love those little home games. Those are great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Perfect. Well, Doug, I think we got to say goodbye to you for this podcast. We can't thank you enough for coming on. It's been amazing. Like I said, every time we go to Regina and you come out here and stuff, it's pretty cool to hang out with you and play against you and stuff like that. Obviously, being named in the top 100 is well deserved, and I hope you continue to play many more years and show us what it's all about.
I appreciate you guys having me tonight, and look forward to watching many more. So thank you.
It's good chatting with you, Dougie, as always.
Thanks, Dougie.
Yeah, you guys.
Definitely.
You're more than welcome to stick in the back. I forgot to tell the last couple podcasts. You can stick around in the backstage till we're done the podcast, and we're happy to chat with you if you're still able to.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Dougie.
Cool. That was really
Great
good.
guest. Yeah.
I just want to point out, Ryan, 5PNU does not condone illegal gambling.
That's right.
You can
You know-
gamble legally as much as you want. That is not our problem.
Dougie's always been a guy that I've always sort of in a way looked up to. Another handful of years older than me, but from the competitive side, always felt like he was sort of in my wheelhouse and always very nice and friendly to me. In the tournaments, me back early days. So good to have him on as a guest. He's done a lot for bowling. Super ultra competitive. Obviously, we didn't really get into over the stats. I don't think Doug knows all of his own stats, but it's a huge resume that he's got. Like he's 25 years in the Open. I mean, he's played a lot of games and a lot of big matches. So great to have him on.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. I know perfect games are a lot about luck and stuff like that, but you always hear people having 2 or 3. He has 4. That is quite the accomplishment. You don't hear about people having that many perfect games, especially in 5-pin bowling. So
I'm never going to get 1, let alone 4.
okay,
You'll
Weber,
get
settle
one,
down.
Dex. Yeah.
Jesus.
What's the most? What's the most perfect games anybody has? What's
Fraser
that?
Hamley, I think. Didn't he have?
Or Frank Levine.
Yeah, they had tons.
Yeah.
Frank, I mean, if you don't count his practice, he had tons. But when he had practice, he would go in for his league night, find out which lanes he was bowling on. He wouldn't leave until he threw a perfect game.
Right. Wait a second. Are we talking about practice?
We are talking
Practice.
Who practices that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nope.
I just want one.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Dougie's a legend. I mean, as soon as I started knowing going around the circuit and going around talking to people, he was always open arm, willing to talk to anybody and help anybody out. Obviously, he's my favorite Clark. I don't like Kevin that much, so I do like having Doug on. But super appreciative of him coming on. He's definitely, even though he's 50 and he doesn't think that he can compete as well as he can, I tell you what, in our illegal gambling side bets, he's always first round pick in our fantasy, right? So the guy can play, and I hope he can play for a lot longer because he throws a really great shot in it.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
No gambling of any form anymore. What's going on?
Well, legal, illegal, whatever.
How's our draw doing there, Dexter?
All
We're
right.
going to bring up our randomization here for this week. How many times do we randomize this today?
Four for 4 perfect games.
That's
Four
what I
for
was
4.
thinking too. That's what I was thinking. We have, how many do we have today? We have 48 people.
Nice. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Make sure everybody shares the podcast afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, please like, share, follow, do all that good stuff.
Everybody on YouTube, followers.
So, which one is this one for?
This one is going to be
For the
What
hat.
we're only got the one for the hat today.
The black flat brim hat. Yeah.
We'll call it the
All right.
DB hat.
Gone
The black.
once. There's the second one.
Ooh, Hibner.
Is Watson
Tyson Nelson on the top again. You're not getting another hat this week, buddy. All right, and the
Or
winner
is
for this
he?
week, Hibner.
Hibner.
Jeff
Yes.
Hibner.
He will look good in this hat.
Yeah, Jeff will rock that. Jeff will rock that for sure.
I like it.
Hey, so Jeff, you can hit us up on Facebook, any four of us, and get us your mailing address, and we'll get that hat out to you.
Yeah, you bet.
And he has
Cool.
to take photos so we can use it for our marketing materials.
That's right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100 yeah, absolutely. You'll be a great male model for us.
Good chats tonight too. Also getting some stirrup about the Autumn Open tournament events, right? Thoughts about getting some entry forms, right? Even start pre-planning that event. Not a bad idea, right? Even though it's still a number of months away, start looking at it.
Yeah. Hey, there he is. Perfect. I'm actually super excited to see that. We haven't had much talk about the WCBT cash events in the last few podcasts, and just to see the chat already talking about it and wanting to get their entries in and stuff like that, that's pretty cool. We just hope the WCBT grows, and Winnipeg's holding that tournament in December, and the WCBT's been maybe working on something to add to the Tour Championship for 2022. Obviously, we need some sponsors to step up and help us out, but we're reaching out, and we're trying to build something that's going to be worthwhile for people to make multiple events and stuff like that to help this tour grow and
Totally.
support, obviously, the best players in the game.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, all right. Timmy, who do we have again next week?
We have Jeff Bourne, so that's going to be quite the character we have on.
Number 99.
Loving his emails. Getting really jacked. I don't think an agenda means anything, so it's going to be, I think, a delight for everybody. I think it's going to be really good. I think we're going to enjoy it.
We're just going to hand him the mic.
I think that's what we do. I think that's what
There's no agenda. There's no. Here you go, Jeff.
Yes, Jeff will speak perfectly. I have no doubt about it, and I think it'd be perfect because at 99, Wayne Gretzky, perfect. There we go. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably the best Winnipegger we got on, right, Brett? And then of course we have the 100th, so we're gonna dabble that in and. Send me fill out your questionnaires. I mean, I only got about 25 in. Fill those out. It's great to see what we can get in for guests. Right now we have about 125 on the list. So I actually had to make an Excel file for that. But it's great to see what everybody
another
wants.
2 years. It's awesome.
Yeah, but it's great to see what people want to come on. So yeah. Do appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, we'll talk
Thanks,
to you all
everybody.
next week. Thanks, chat.